Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to look in the mirror and see a warrior, not someone waiting for others to give you permission or validation, but a force standing tall already. That reflection staring back at you is unbreakable. Maybe the world around you says it's impossible. Maybe the doubts whisper that you don't have what it takes. But let me tell you, the strongest storms don't break the oak. They make it stronger. That reflection isn't just flesh and bones and blood, it's courage. It's heart, it's belief, see being the one. Man Army isn't about going it alone. It's about owning your purpose so completely that no one needs to fight harder than you. When the lights dim, your resolve should shine brighter. When the voice of fear gets loud, your faith should get louder. You don't wait for the cavalry. You are the cavalry. You are the unit, and every step you take carries everything you've ever wanted. When you decide to stand your ground, that moment is the moment you become unstoppable. They'll tell you it's too late, you're too late. You'll hear them say, everybody's already ahead. But here's the catch, your journey doesn't start when they say yes. Your journey starts when you say yes to yourself. It starts when you look fear in the face and say, I'm going through. One-man army doesn't mean no backup. It means you carry the mission inside of you. You are the tip of the spear, the voice of the trailblazer, the firebrand. Don't wait for approval. Don't wait for permission, especially if the ones who should have believed didn't. History doesn't remember the doubters or the delays. It remembers the man who moved when others froze. It remembers the single decision to stand up, to step forward, to let the world know you're not here to be a spectator. You may be thinking, I'm not extraordinary. Good. That means you've got room to grow. That means you've got something to prove, most importantly to yourself. You might not have a trophy case or a headline yet, but you have something way more powerful, hunger. And hunger doesn't care about pedigree or past wins. Hunger cares about your heartbeat. Hunger cares about your next move. Hunger cares about how you show up, how you rise when you fall, how you stand when it's quiet and the world's sleeping. When you're the one-man army, every failure is ammunition. Every setback is reconnaissance. You learn the terrain, you adapt, you adjust, and then you punch through. You don't hide from adversity, you welcome it. You say, bring it on because I'm learning your secrets. And adversity, like any disciple, opens your eyes. It reveals character you didn't know existed. You tap into reserves when your mind says you're done. You go harder then. You dig deeper then. And when you reach past the pain, past the exhaustion, that's where champions are made. Don't look for shortcuts. They're illusions. They'll reduce your story to an empty punchline. You want the real thing, do the work. Trust the process. When people are celebrating results, you'll still be grinding. People will see the crown. They won't see the hours, the sacrifices, the lonely nights. But you know, and the man who trusts that process, who knows that greatness isn't gifted, it's forged, he stands unshakable. He's unbothered by applause because his value isn't determined by who's watching. His value is determined by who he's becoming. Find your vision. Cling to it like your life depends on it, because it does. Write it, speak it, breathe it. Every morning, remind yourself what you're fighting for. Every night, ask yourself if you got closer. And if the answer is not enough, get back at it. Take another swing. It doesn't matter how slow you go as long as you don't stop. You're not just fighting for your dreams, you're fighting for your descendants. You're fighting for the example you leave behind. You carry the torch. People are looking at you, even when you don't think they are. You carry power. You carry responsibility. To come undone now would be selfish. But to rise defiantly is to give permission to someone else that they can too. When the world knocks you down, you stand up. Shake the dust off like a lion shakes the savannah and roar louder, because that's what it means to be that one. Man Army, you don't crumble, you don't question. You don't retreat. You roar and you bring the fight, because in that roar you call others to stand too. In that roar you signal that quitting is not an option. That's how you lead. That's how you conquer fear. Ask yourself, who do you become when no one's watching? That question is a mirror and a challenge. When your phone's off, the world's dark, the struggle's real. What do you choose? The answer says everything. Belief in your mission is non-negotiable. Your commitment must be deeper than your comfort. Your mindset must recognize that pain is temporary, but pride lasts. You will battle doubt, and you will doubt your battle. But that's part of being alive. The difference is you remember your why, you pull deeper from it. It becomes your heartbeat. It becomes your bulletproof armor. Understand that many seasons will pass. You'll harvest in some others, you'll starve. Accept both as part of the process. Season of growth, season of struggle, and through it all you remain hungry, you remain relentless, you remain resolute, one-man army. You will fight with love, not just with drive. Love for the craft, love for the journey. Because if you only chase glory, you'll fall when it fades. But if you fall in love with the work, the process, the growth, you'll stay unwavering, even when the lights dim, even when applause fades. You become unshakably rooted in your reason. There will be days when you cry, days when you question, days when sweat and tears feel like they outweigh belief. That's when you lean into faith, faith in your vision, faith in your instinct, faith in the value you bring to the world. You don't need a spotlight, you need a purpose, and purpose is fire. And when purpose burns in you, you become the flame others come to for warmth. Everything worth fighting for seems impossible when you start, but it's not about how big the mountain is. It's how big your heart is. It's how firm you are when the wind kicks in. It's how you keep your stance when the earth shakes. It's how you refuse to back down because backing down isn't in your DNA. When someone tells you that you're not the one, turn and walk away quietly and go be the one anyway. Let your results answer them. Do your job, say your piece, take your shot, leave without regret. If you fall short, you say, I gave it everything. That fight, that commitment, that is legacy, and understand this, being a one. Man army doesn't mean sacrificing humanity. It means elevating your humanity. You are fierce, but you are kind. You are driven, but you have grace. You lead yourself and lead others. You own your lane, but you open gates. You know the struggle, so you reach back. You see the climb, so you point the way. You are a leader because you own the climb, not because you escaped it. Let your setbacks be comebacks. Let your losses become lessons. Let your grit be your story. It will be told, not with empty words, but with echoes of sacrifice, strength, discipline. One day, when you look up, that reflection in the mirror won't just be you. It'll be every lesson you refused to ignore, every doubt you turned into fuel, every moment when you decided to stand and keep going. That reflection is history in motion. That reflection is testimony. That reflection is victory in progress, and it all started with one decision: to embrace the grind, to rise above fear, to be the one. Man army you were born to be. When you wake up in the morning and your feet hit the floor, the first question you ask yourself has to be, why am I doing this? Not because the world's watching, not because someone's telling you to move, but because there's a voice deep down that knows your steps matter. You don't need to be loud about it, but you've got to be certain. Because if you don't know what you're standing for, you'll fall for anything. That purpose, that quiet fire inside you, is the compass. It doesn't shout. It doesn't beg for attention, but it guides every single thing you do, if you're listening close enough. Most people drift through life, letting the wind push them, letting the crowd pull them. But when you know your purpose, you're not moved like that. You move with intention. You don't chase trends, you chase truth. You don't follow noise, you follow meaning. And when you're locked into that, when you're anchored to what really matters to you, no outside storm can sink you. The tides will rise, yes, the wind will scream, the critics will get louder. But you'll still be standing because your purpose is rooted too deep. You've got to fight for that purpose every day, because the world is full of distractions. Social media will try to tell you who you should be. People around you, even the ones who love you, will try to make you small just so they feel tall. But when you know who you are and what you've been called to do, that noise becomes background static. You hear it, but you don't respond to it. You've got something bigger guiding you. This isn't about being better than the next man. This is about being better than your former self every single day. You're not out here to impress. You're out here to progress. And you can't progress if you're bouncing from dream to dream, trying to wear 100 masks. One mission, one vision, one standard. That's how you build something that lasts. That's how you become undeniable. That's how you start walking through doors that were once slammed shut. Because you refuse to take no for an answer. When you own your purpose, you stop being reactive. You stop waiting for opportunity to knock. You build the door yourself. You don't sit around hoping someone sees your worth. You go out and you show it. Day in, day out, through failure, through pain. Through silence, through disrespect. You keep showing up not because it's easy, not because you're comfortable, but because you believe in what you're building more than anything else. And belief, real belief, doesn't live in hype. It lives in discipline. It lives in those early mornings when no one sees you grinding. It lives in those nights when your mind says rest, but your purpose says push. Purpose demands work. Purpose demands sacrifice. Purpose isn't found in convenience. It's found in commitment. You don't stumble into it. You build it. You choose it. You protect it. There will be days when you doubt yourself. That's human. There will be moments when your vision gets cloudy, when your heart gets heavy. But you've got to reach into the core of who you are and remember why you started. You've got to remind yourself that you didn't come this far just to turn around now. You've got to speak life over yourself when nobody else does. You've got to know that your voice, your presence, your journey, it matters. It matters even when it's quiet. It matters even when it's slow. It matters even when you don't see results yet. Because the seed doesn't look like the tree, but it becomes the tree when it's rooted. You don't wait to feel powerful. You act with power. You don't wait to feel inspired. You move with discipline. That's how you grow. That's how you stretch. That's how you transform. People are going to question your path. Let them. People are going to say it can't be done. Let them. People are going to walk away when it gets hard. Let them. That's not your concern. Your concern is staying locked in. You've got something they don't understand. And you don't owe them an explanation. You owe it to yourself to keep moving. You owe it to your future to stay faithful to your gift. When others slow down, you pick up the pace. When they fold, you dig deeper. When they stop believing, you keep going, not to prove them wrong, but to prove yourself right. To prove to the little voice inside you, the one that whispered you're made for more, that it was telling the truth all along. Nobody else can define your purpose. Nobody else can live it for you. It doesn't come in a title or a position or a paycheck. It comes in your fire. It comes in your choices. It comes in how you show up when it's tough. And the thing about purpose is, once you find it, you can't unsee it. It pulls you forward. It calls you higher. It dares you to be better, stronger, sharper. It dares you to become the version of yourself you were always meant to be. You don't have to be the loudest. You don't have to be the fastest. You don't have to be the most gifted. But you do have to be the most committed, the most focused, the most grounded. Purpose doesn't care about your comfort. It cares about your conviction. And if you've got that, nothing can stop you. Not opinions, not failure, not time. Because when you own your purpose, you move different. You don't wait for things to happen. You go make them happen. You create, you build, you rise. And when it's all said and done, it won't be the trophies or the headlines that speak the loudest. It'll be the work, the legacy, the lives you touched. The moments you stayed true, the days you could have quit but didn't. The quiet hours when you kept going, not because it felt good, but because it was necessary. That's what purpose does. It doesn't just guide you. It shapes you. It doesn't just fuel you. It refines you. It breaks you down and builds you back stronger. It demands the best version of you, and it doesn't settle. It won't let you rest in mediocrity. It won't let you shrink to fit in. It pulls greatness out of you whether you're ready or not. And once you answer that call, once you say yes, with your actions, not just your words, the world has to make room for your presence. Because someone who owns their purpose becomes a force. And a force doesn't ask for space, it creates it. Everybody wants the shine. Everybody wants the applause, the lights, the title, the recognition, but not everybody wants the grind. Not everybody wants the lonely nights, the repeated failures, the hours when your back is against the wall and nobody is cheering you on. See, that's the part they don't show on social media. That's the part that doesn't fit neatly in a post. That's the part that separates those who want to look the part from those who live it. Glamour is temporary, grit is eternal. Glamour fades when the crowd goes home, when the likes stop coming, when the awards gather dust. But grit sticks with you. It's what keeps you getting up when life drops you to your knees. It's what drives you when you've got every reason to quit and you decide, no, not today. Glamour is the image. Grit is the identity. You don't need to look successful. You need to be unshakable. There's a difference. People will tell you to fake it till you make it. No, you train till you make it. You work until it shows. You put in so much effort, they can't ignore you even if they want to. That's grit. That's showing up every single day, whether you feel like it or not. Whether it's convenient or not. Whether you're tired, broke, doubting yourself, or flat on your face. You show up anyway. You build in silence, you grow when no one's watching. You put your head down and you do the damn work. Because you know it's not about looking like a winner, it's about being one. And real winners are made in the dark. Before the cameras, before the stage, before the speech. They're made when there's nothing but a vision and a grind and no one clapping. You don't learn grit when things are going well. You learn it when everything you planned falls apart. When people turn their backs on you, when failure hits you so hard it makes you question everything. That's when you find out who you are. That's when you find out if you're built for this. If you can take the pain and keep pushing. If you can take the silence and keep building. If you can take the doubt and still believe. Glamour is loud. Grit is quiet. Glamour wants attention. Grit wants results. Glamour wants comfort. Grit embraces struggle. And when you choose grit, you understand something important. Pain is part of the process. There's no shortcut around it. You can't Photoshop your way to greatness. You can't filter your way to fulfillment. You've got to go through it. You've got to sweat for it. You've got to bleed for it. Because the work doesn't lie. Don't confuse visibility with value. Just because people see you doesn't mean you're growing. Just because you've got attention doesn't mean you've got impact. The ones making the loudest noise aren't always the ones making the biggest moves. The real ones are too busy building, too busy learning, too busy putting one foot in front of the other. They're too focused to seek applause. Because when you're truly grinding, there's no time to beg for attention. You let your results do the talking. And those results, they don't come from luck. They come from relentless effort, from waking up before the sun, from putting in extra hours when nobody asked you to, from saying no to distractions so you can say yes to growth, from falling flat and still having the courage to rise. Every scar tells a story. Every failure leaves a lesson. Every setback shapes the strength inside of you. That's grit. That's how you earn what you want. Some people want a lifestyle. Others want a legacy. One fades, the other echoes long after you're gone. Grit builds legacy because legacy takes time. It takes discipline. It takes patience. You're not chasing moments. You're building momentum. You're not just trying to be hot now. You're building something that lasts. Something rooted. Something deep. Glamour will tempt you to cut corners. Grit won't let you. Grit keeps your standards high even when no one's watching. Grit holds you accountable when excuses try to sneak in. Grit tells you to run that extra mile, to stay up another hour, to do it again even when you already did it 10 times. Grit is what separates the average from the exceptional, not talent, not luck, not connections. Grit, you will be misunderstood. That's okay. You'll be underestimated. Good, use it. Every doubt thrown your way can become fuel. You don't need everyone to believe in you. You just need to believe enough to stay locked in. They'll see later. Let your consistency speak. Let your endurance speak. Let your strength under pressure speak. That's how you prove your worth, not with words, but with your work ethic. And let's be clear, grit isn't about being emotionless. It's not about pretending you're invincible. It's about showing up even when you're vulnerable. It's about choosing to keep moving even with fear sitting on your shoulder. It's not the absence of fear, it's the decision to keep going in spite of it. Grit says, I'm scared, I'm hurt, I'm tired, but I'm not done. Grit says, I've failed, but I'm not finished. That mindset, that refusal to surrender, that's the difference maker. When you put grit over glamour, you understand the value of the long game. You stop looking for overnight success. You start respecting the journey. You start appreciating the process, because you know the things that come easy aren't the ones that last. It's the things you fought for, the things you bled for. That means something. It's not about being flashy. It's about being faithful, faithful to the grind, faithful to the dream, faithful to your standard. You work like the reward is already promised, because it is, as long as you don't quit. That's the secret, not talent, not charm, persistence, discipline, grit. So when people talk, let them. When they laugh, let them. When they doubt you, let them. That's not your concern. Your concern is the work. Your concern is the vision. Your concern is the mission. Every day you show up and you handle your business. Whether the crowd's big or empty, whether the money's flowing or tight, whether the path's clear or confusing, you keep showing up. Because you're not here for approval. You're here for greatness. There's beauty in the struggle. Not because pain feels good, but because it makes you stronger. Not because obstacles are fun, but because they make you better. The ones who embrace the grind are the ones who rise, slowly, quietly, powerfully, and when the time comes, they don't need to say a word. Their life does all the talking. Pain has a way of testing you like nothing else. It strips away your excuses, silences the noise, and leaves you alone with one question. Will you stand or will you fold? It's easy to be strong when things are going right. It's easy to smile when the checks are clearing, when the applause is loud, when the path is smooth. But when it all falls apart, when the people you trusted disappear, when the plan doesn't work, when life throws you to your knees, what do you do then? That's when the real story begins. You don't find strength in comfort. You find it in the moments that threaten to break you, when your chest is tight with anxiety, when your eyes are tired from crying, when your dreams feel 1,000 miles away. That's when you discover what you're made of. That's when you find out if all those words you've been saying mean something. Because talk is cheap when life is easy. It's in the pain where your values get tested. It's in the hurt where your character is revealed. There's a reason why storms come, not to destroy you, but to strip away the unnecessary, to test your foundation, to show you what was real and what was weak. That pressure you feel, that ache in your spirit, that's life chiseling you into something unshakable. That's the fire shaping your resolve. If you can stand when it hurts, if you can breathe through the pain, walk through the fear, cry but keep walking, there's nothing that can stop you. People look for shortcuts out of discomfort. They want the escape hatch, the back door, the quick fix. But pain isn't the enemy. Pain is the signal. It says something is changing, something is growing. You don't get stronger by avoiding the struggle. You get stronger by going through it, step by step, breath by breath. And on the other side, you realize you didn't just survive, you evolved. Standing when it hurts doesn't mean pretending you're okay. It doesn't mean forcing a smile when your heart's breaking. It means choosing to keep showing up anyway. It means saying, this hurts, but I'm not giving up. I'm not done. I'm still in the fight. That kind of decision builds a foundation nobody can shake. It builds a mindset that fear can't conquer. It builds a spirit that refuses to bow. Every champion has a moment of doubt. Every warrior has a moment of weakness. But what separates them isn't perfection. It's perseverance. They didn't avoid the pain, they met it. They let it teach them, and then they moved anyway. That's the difference. You don't wait for the pain to pass, you carry it. You use it. You let it remind you how badly you want this. When the nights are long and the weight is heavy, remember why you started. Remember the dream that kept you awake before life knocked you down. You didn't come this far to quit now. You didn't put in all that effort just to walk away at the first sign of resistance. Everything you want is still ahead of you, but you have to be willing to fight through the hurt to get there. Pain makes you question everything. It makes you wonder if it's worth it. It makes you want to shrink back into comfort. But the truth is, you don't grow there, you don't find purpose there, you find it in the fire. You find it when everything inside you says stop and you decide to go anyway. That's power, that's courage. That's what greatness is made of. You're not made of glass. You're made of grit, of scars, of resilience. You weren't built to break. You were built to rise. You were built to overcome the ache in your soul. That's proof that you're still alive, that you're still in the game, that there's still something burning inside you worth fighting for. So stand up, wipe your face, square your shoulders, and keep moving. Don't wait for it to stop hurting. Don't wait for the perfect conditions. Move in the pain, build in the chaos, push through the doubt. Because when you do, you create a memory that tells your future self, I've been through worse, and I'm still here. That becomes your fuel. That becomes your strength. You earn every inch of growth through that struggle. And no, it won't always be fair. No, it won't always make sense. But if you quit now, you'll never know who you could have become. You'll never see the mountain from the other side. You'll never understand the strength that was waiting for you on the other side of that pain. So don't run from it. Don't numb it. Don't hide, stand in it. And become something new. When others quit, you keep going. When others cry out, it's too hard. You whisper back, I was built for this. Because you were. You're not here by accident. You weren't given this dream just to watch it die. You were given this challenge because you're one of the few who can carry it, who can rise with it, who can survive the storm and still walk tall. Look at your life right now and ask yourself, what am I willing to endure to get where I'm going? What pain am I willing to walk through to see the promise on the other side? Because if you can answer that with conviction, nothing can touch you. You become a force, a presence, a warrior, and warriors don't beg for relief. They find strength in resistance. You don't need anyone's permission to keep going. You don't need anyone to understand the pain you carry. All you need is the fire inside you. That's enough. That's everything. Because once you've stood in the middle of the storm and decided you won't break, the storm loses its power. Once you've stood in the fire and kept walking, the fire becomes your fuel. Every scar you carry is a chapter in your story, a reminder that you didn't quit, that you didn't give in, that you chose to stand when it hurt. And when you reach the other side, and you'll be able to say, I earned this. I fought for this. I paid for this in pain, and now I stand in power. And the next time life knocks on your door with another trial, you won't flinch. You'll smile because you've seen pain before. You've walked through it, and now you don't fear it. You welcome it because you know what it really is. Not punishment, not failure, but preparation. And you were made for this. There comes a time when talking isn't enough. A time when explanations won't cut it, when promises won't carry weight, when intentions fall flat. The world doesn't change from what you say. It changes from what you do. You can preach about discipline, about sacrifice, about vision all day long. But if your actions don't match your words, nobody's listening. They're watching how you move when it's hard, watching how you respond when it's inconvenient, watching what you choose when no one's keeping score. That's where real leadership lives, not in titles, not in speeches, but in example. See, anybody can find a reason not to show up. Anybody can find an excuse to fall short. I'm tired. I didn't have time. Things didn't go as planned. The world is full of people hiding behind excuses that sound good, excuses that feel justifiable, but results don't care about how you feel. Growth doesn't respond to explanations. It responds to action. It responds to someone who stands up, despite the chaos, and says, let's go. I'm still here. Watch me work. You can't lead people where you're not willing to go. You can't ask for excellence and then operate in mediocrity. You want to inspire others, show them what discipline looks like when your energy is gone. Show them what commitment looks like when nobody's clapping. Show them what consistency means when the rewards are delayed. You can't lead from the comfort of the sidelines. You lead by stepping on the field, by taking the hits, by grinding anyway. And it doesn't matter if anyone notices at first. It doesn't matter if the results come slow, because the real power is in what you're building inside. That mindset, that toughness, that example you're setting. It becomes part of your legacy. People may not remember your words, but they'll never forget how you moved. They'll remember that you were the one who didn't flinch, who didn't fold, who didn't point fingers or make excuses. You took ownership, you took the weight, and you carried it. That's what leadership looks like: responsibility. Stepping up when it's uncomfortable, being consistent when it's unpopular, doing the right thing when it's unnoticed. That's what separates the ones who just talk from the ones who change things. You want to build a culture around your family, team, community that believes in excellence. It starts with you. What time do you wake up? How hard do you work? How well do you handle pressure? That's the culture. That's what people absorb. That's what people mirror. You might think nobody's watching, but they are. Always, people are learning from your decisions, from your attitude, from your habits. And if you slack, they slack. If you complain, they complain. If you push, they push, because energy is contagious. Standards are contagious, and so are excuses. So you better decide right now. What are you going to spread? Discipline or distraction? Ownership or excuses? You want your circle to elevate. You elevate first. You want your team to be more accountable, then you stop cutting corners. You want the people around you to take things seriously, then show them what serious looks like. That's the price of leadership. You go first. You bleed first. You suffer first. And you rise first. Not for credit, not for praise, but because that's the kind of leader who builds something that lasts. There's no growth in pointing blame. There's no greatness in finding reasons why you can't. Every time you excuse yourself from the work, you rob yourself of progress. Every time you rationalize weakness, you trade strength for comfort. And comfort is a dangerous drug. It feels good in the moment. It lulls you into thinking it's okay to settle. But you know better. Deep down, you know you were made for more, and more doesn't come through excuses. It comes through example. You'll be tempted to cut corners, to take the easy route, to say, I'll do it tomorrow. But what if someone's watching you today? What if your discipline becomes their breakthrough? What if your refusal to quit becomes the reason they don't? That's the weight you carry, not because it's a burden, but because it's a responsibility. And it's an honor to be that light, to be that fire, to be that standard. Understand this. You are a mirror for others, and the reflection they see in you might be the only glimpse of excellence they've ever known. You can either show them strength or show them weakness. You can show them action or show them excuses, but you can't do both. At some point, you have to choose. You might not be the loudest. You might not be the most naturally gifted, but you can be the most dependable. You can be the most consistent. You can be the one who walks it like they talk it. That's how you become unshakable. That's how you create a reputation that doesn't need defending. Because your life, your discipline, your results, they speak for you. And don't think this means being perfect. No, far from it. You're going to mess up. You're going to have days where you fall short. But even in those moments, you lead, you own it. You learn from it. You grow from it. That's leadership. Not pretending to have it all together, but refusing to stay broken, refusing to stay stuck, refusing to stay in the mess. You lead even when you fall, by getting back up. And you don't need a stage to lead. You don't need 1 million followers or a fancy platform. Leadership starts where you are. At home, at work, in the quiet, in the struggle. You lead in how you show up, in how you respond to stress, in how you treat people who can't help you. You lead by the decisions you make when no one's clapping for you. Excuses are easy. They're everywhere, but they never take you anywhere. They leave you exactly where you are, comfortable but unfulfilled, safe but stuck. And you weren't born to be stuck. You were born to build, to grow, to rise, and to bring others with you. But you can't lead people up a mountain you're not willing to climb. So ask yourself, am I being the example I expect from others? Am I showing the work ethic, the humility, the courage I want to see around me? If not, it's time to tighten it up. No shame in starting fresh. No guilt in deciding today that you're done with excuses. What matters is what you do next. That next step. That next decision. That next rep. That's where leadership is built. That's where greatness begins.